the next few seconds. I think we are live. Are we live? Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check what's going on, folks. Okay. Wednesday, March the 4th. Hello, folks. If you're in Asia or the Middle East, well, have a good morning to you. But if you're in the Americas, you're probably at the end of the day or heading towards there. Today's Wednesday, March 4th. The world is changing really, really fast. The world is moving at a fast pace. I am going to come back to the conversation about coronavirus, but today's topic is a little bit different. I want to talk about transformation. I want to talk about governments. I want to talk about something really revolutionary that's happening within governments today as of 2020. And what is it that makes governments more efficient? What are some leading governments doing in the world? And what's happening in the news? There's something really new I want to share with you. And so thank you for being here and thank you for being part of my live cast. I know you've got time to spare and do other things. You could be doing many other important things. And thank you for spending the next few minutes here because what you hear here is important and it can have an impact on your life. So thank you for being part of my channel and supporting my channel. Please subscribe while you're here. Please subscribe. Click on the buttons here or here. Subscribe to my channel so that you can keep in touch and you can hear from me as soon as I've launched an episode or I go live. It's really important that we do that. I want to talk to you about an important development this week that it comes as a pleasant surprise by a favorite government of mine, and that's the government of the United Arab Emirates. Yes, if you've heard of Dubai, Abu Dhabi, you've heard about the UAE. If you've been there, then well, you've seen what an incredible country that is, and how really nice these cities are, and how fast they have developed over the last few decades. By far, I can guarantee that the United Arab Emirates is at a leading position when it comes to taking initiative, when it comes to doing things that are literally impossible, but then holding yourself accountable to doing them. When it comes to pitching a high goal and saying, hey, this is the biggest thing that I'm going to do, and it's impossible to do it, and you do it, that is the United Arab Emirates. So I'm really inspired by the actions that the UAE takes because it definitely helps move forward. It's a step in the positive direction. Take a look at some of the things the UAE has done in the past or in the recent few years. The UAE claims to do the world's largest, the world's biggest, the world's fastest, and all these goals and ambitions that the United Arab Emirates has and Dubai has are happening now. And I really appreciate the fact that the leadership in that country is transparent, is aggressive, and it's really positioned and focused at creating clarity and success and creating a country and a region and a city that's really amazing to live in, and the quality of life is good, and it just changes the way you live. This week itself, just a few days ago, the government of the United Arab Emirates, the Prime Minister's office, the office of Sheikh Mohammed, as he's known, did something really incredible. They launched an app called the Mystery Shopper app. Now, this is a government. This is not the private sector. This is not your surveying organization that gets paid to do something. This is a government acting on behalf of its citizens. This is a government trying to find transparency and trying to enable seamless services. This is a government entity, ladies and gentlemen. It is unheard of. It is unknown in the previous, in our lives, that a government is so open to doing these things. So the government of the UAE says, and being the Prime Minister, Sheikh Mohammed said he's the Prime Minister of the country of the United Arab Emirates and also the ruler of the city of Dubai, he said that we need to change the way services are delivered. We need to change the quality of services that are delivered. We need to make sure that if somebody goes to register a healthcare service, registers to get a health card, or do any government-related service, whether it's renewing a driver's license, it's getting your health card, it's registering a company, it is paying a bill, it is any service that you're going to perform at a government office, at a government service center, then we need to make sure that services are being delivered to the highest quality possible. That's great. As a vision for a government, that's great. If you're so involved in your government, in your governance and services within government, that's perfect, because then you can track it. Now, what happened, which was different, is that the government of the UAE has launched what I believe is the world's first citizen engagement app, which is a mystery shopper app. A mystery shopper app within the government service. Now, traditionally, governments work with mystery shoppers, and you can be part of you can be approached by government, you can be part of a mystery shopper program. In the private sector, it's very, very common. I've been part of mystery shoppers before. I have been a mystery shopper myself in the past, where I went and evaluated services at a retail store and sent that feedback back to the organization that asked me to become the mystery shopper, and so on. So went life. And that feedback, that honest feedback, without that store knowing that you're mystery shopping, is impactful, because there's no buildup, there's no fakeness to it, and it's real. So when you do that at a government level, it means governments are really serious about transparency. The governments are really serious about making sure the services are delivered as they should be delivered. Now, I've done a lot of work with the government of Estonia. The government of Estonia is really good friends with me. Some really cool people within the e-residency, within the CIO technology level, are people that I have worked with on some initiatives in the past. And I can tell you, to give you an example of a different world, a different country, the government of Estonia is really progressive when it comes to digitization, when it comes to creating seamless digital services. One thing might be, let's create digital services so that everything is seamless, so that if it's minus 40 degrees outside in winter and a child is born, the parents of the child do not need to leave home to do anything. They don't need to leave home to register for the passport, to register for the birth certificate, to get paperwork in order. Everything is done in one place. It's all done digitally. They don't need to do anything or leave the house, because the conditions outside are terrible. And so that's one thing that the government of Estonia has created over the last many years, is create automation, digitization, digital transformation to benefit citizens and offer citizen services. Now, that translates into many different things government of Estonia does: banking, finance, regulation, government services, of course, and so on and so forth. The government of the UAE has been working relentlessly on other initiatives. So in addition to enhancing government services, they're doing the World Government Summit, bringing everybody together and creating a path for success. Or they're doing, let's say, Expo 2020, where it's the world's largest show, and 100,000 people will come in, or 1 million people will come in, or the period of 6 months, and they'll figure out and they'll see what progress so many different countries have made. Having said that, a great step towards Expo 2020, that's going to happen at the end of the year, this year in Dubai for 6 months, is this mystery shopper app. You can now register residents of the UAE, of course, not you and I who don't live there, but residents of the UAE now can register for the mystery app. You can download it on your phone. You can register for it, put your credentials in, and you can walk into a government service center, utilize the service. You can utilize renewal of something, or you can just walk in and you can be a mystery shopper by just watching different things. You can report through your app securely, without anybody knowing, the state and the conditions in which you were served. The parking lot was dirty. You could say, hey, the parking lot was dirty. I went to renew my driver's license at so-and-so location. The parking lot was super dirty. Garbage cans were not cleaned. Oh, and I walked into the door and the door wouldn't open. And I tried to grab a ticket to get served, but nothing was working. And I spoke to the gentleman or the lady at the counter, and they didn't talk to me properly. All of these things can be now captured in the mystery shopping app that the government has released. That feedback directly goes to higher levels of government, higher levels of governance, the Prime Minister's office, where they monitor what is going on at a citizenship level. Where are we falling short? What are the things we need to improve? And what that does is it creates a mindset of excellence. It creates a mindset and a credibility that a government truly deserves. And I think it's a brilliant step. I'm really, really super impressed. I'm looking forward to the results that come out of this initiative in the next few months. By the way, a few months ago, the government of the UAE also, actually Sheikh Mohammed, who's the prime minister of the country, he openly, publicly tweeted that some of the service centers within government were doing bad, some were doing well, and he named them. He publicly named them, and that was incredible because that's all about being open and being transparent. And that's the news. I'm super happy about this. So that's definitely some good news that has happened this week. I'm also going to touch very briefly on the developments of coronavirus because I follow the trends and I see what's happening across different parts of the world. Coronavirus literally is creating havoc in the world, not because it's spreading and killing people, but because it's creating a lot of panic. And that's the reality of it. The media coverage for coronavirus is incredible. A majority of news space and majority of newsprint is covered with coronavirus, every single aspect of it. And this disease and this condition, this virus is being more spread more because of the media rather than in reality. At an average, and this is a stat, at an average, more people have died because of a regular flu in 2019 than coronavirus. About 40,000 people die from the flu every year. Every year, 40,000 people die because of the flu. But we don't. This is a common cold. This is your common cold, but we don't think about it too much. We don't talk about it too much. And so for that reason, I really suggest that you pay proper attention to the development of coronavirus and do not panic because of it. Don't panic and think the world is going to the dogs. It makes sense to prepare for a quarantine. For example, in your building, if you live in an apartment or in your neighborhood, if somebody gets diagnosed with coronavirus, they find out that somebody has coronavirus, or more than one person has coronavirus, that neighborhood or that building might be put under quarantine, right? Which means nobody can leave their homes, nobody can enter their homes. And if you're stuck outside your home, you're stuck outside your home. And that's the challenge. The bigger challenge is quarantine rather than having the disease, because you're stuck in a different set of circumstances. In order to avoid a situation like that and not to suffer during a quarantine, it makes sense that you have some supplies of goods, equipment, important necessities, some food, some water, whatever you need to survive maybe for 2 weeks. And that's a typical quarantine period for the coronavirus is 2 weeks. So it would be due diligence. If you can have that much amount of food for 2 weeks at home, which is kept in your pantry, it's kept secure, just in case something happens. Of course, please take precautions and stay clean, wash your hands, stay hygienic, avoid touching surfaces and touching your face and making contact with people who are sick. Please, of course, do that. But do not panic because of it, because it doesn't help. Panic is not helping anybody. Many companies and organizations are making changes, getting people to work from home as an example, or canceling public gatherings. And there's many events that were going to happen, from Aruba's Atmosphere in Las Vegas to Cisco in Asia. What else? Microsoft has canceled a huge event, the MVP conference. Google has canceled the I/O event. It's a very huge conference. So there's some really marquee events, really big events that gather thousands of people at one place, or have been canceled or have been postponed because of the concerns of coronavirus. Because, hey, you never know who's coming to these conferences. People from all over the world come and arrive to these conferences, and it might just be a position in a case where something turns into a bad situation. So definitely that's a great judgment call these organizations have run. There are some large events, for example, South by Southwest, SXSW, happening in Austin, that has not been canceled yet, and organizers are watching the situation to say, hey, we're going to watch the situation until the end, because we don't know if we want to cancel or not, because it's a nightmare to put this event together. There's a lot at stake. We can't just cancel it and move it, because at South by Southwest, the entire city of Austin is involved. The entire city of Austin is taken over and is involved. It's a huge source of revenue. It's a huge opportunity for the region since many years. And so canceling it is a big thing. And I think the organizers are possibly waiting for a really last minute change either yay or a nay, maybe, hey, there's no more threats of coronavirus, everything's going to be okay, or hey, we really need to shut this down because we can't deal with it. So there's definitely some of those events that are happening, that are on the radar. At a personal front, I have a few events where I was going. They've been moved, they've been postponed, and organizers are trying to find different slots later during the year to make those events possible. And that's the reality of life. Right now, things are in the air. A lot of hype is being created because of coronavirus. And But definitely take your precautions, be safe, and do what is needed to be done. But statistically, more people die from a regular flu than coronavirus. More people are dying from a regular flu than from they've died from coronavirus. So that's kind of a stat that you should keep in mind, and do not panic. Keep yourself safe. Hey, here's a book that you should read while you're at home, you're working from home, and it's called Crossing the Chasm. Now, Crossing the Chasm is by Geoffrey Moore, and this book is kind of a standard book that you want to read if you want to think about what extraordinary companies do or should do in order to jump, what extraordinary companies and successful companies should do in order to make that big transition. What are some of the challenges companies face when they have to take that big leap of growth and success? And so Geoffrey Moore's book is amazing. This is a standard book you should read, and it's definitely a piece that should be in your library. If you don't have a library, then buy this book and let this be the first book in your library. And that's literally what I wish for you. Amazing read. I've read this book multiple times, and I will continue to read it many, many more times in the next few years. It's a really, really great read. That's all for now, friends. You take care, be good, be safe, and whatever you do, keep others safe, keep yourself safe, and take care of your family, your workplace. Be efficient, strive for a better tomorrow, and let's overcome our challenges to make the world a better place. I wish you all the best. Take care. See you soon. I love you, and have a great night, a good day, and have a super fantastic time wherever you are.